Good evening, fellow citizens. It's your old pal Deezer D from my home live in Ulsan, South Korea. And if you don't believe me, you can take a look at this peanut can right here with the writing on it. And we're going to have a little exercise and demonstration in how to exercise your constitutional rights as an American citizen abroad using this, your absentee ballot. Let's have a look inside this sucker, shall we? In my envelope, I've got my voter's pamphlet, my envelope return, my secrecy envelope, and my ballot itself. Now this one came in the mail a few days ago with 4 items in it, delivered by my home state of Washington in the Great Northwest. Inside we've got, first of all, the Washington State Voters Pamphlet. Now pay very close attention to this and don't throw it away, especially if, like me, you've been gone a long time and you wonder what the heck is going on in terms of initiatives, incumbents, what's changed in the voting rules lately, and just what sort of craziness your home state might be up to, right? Then further along we've got the more important items. I have a nice purple return envelope in here to return my ballot in, obviously. A secrecy envelope. This sounds like a dead giveaway and an oxymoron, but it's simply to put your ballot inside so nobody can peek. Think of it like when you mail a check. And finally, the most important thing, the ballot itself. Next, the instructions. Now before you do anything too hasty, one item you do want to pay very close attention to is the instruction page. Clearly marked here, how to vote your mail ballot. It does note that my home county is of course an all-mail ballot county, which does make things a lot easier, but it puts the onus on you to be a lot more careful. If you voted in 2000, you know what can happen when a ballot gets marked wrong, and we don't want that, now do we? So, check your instructions carefully. In this case, we have an item noting that it wants me to draw a line from one end of the arrow to the other to connect it, and there's specific instructions on how to correct, tear off the stub on top of my ballot, how to sign off on the return envelope, etc., etc. Follow your instructions carefully so nobody has an excuse to mark off your ballot and not count it. Right? Okay, so I've carefully read my instructions, I'm fully equipped, so now it's time to get all the important stuff done. I've got my ballot, I've got my pen, so it's time to mark it up with my candidates of choice. And here's my candidate of choice, Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Now I've already marked up the rest of the ballot, so we're just going to watch this fuzzy shot as I do that for my presidential candidate of choice. There we are. Okay, so I've marked my ballot and I need to tear off this little stub where it says discard the stub, and then it'll go first of all into the aptly named secrecy envelope, and I will seal that up in a bit, and after that it will then go into my return envelope to be returned. Oh, and one other item I don't want to forget, which is the slot here for the signature. Don't forget to sign your ballot. They might not count it. Make sure you've got all your I's dotted and T's crossed before you seal it and send it in. Okay? Okay, so here we are. I've voted. My ballot is completely filled out. Everything is in place. It's all sealed up in both the envelope inside the envelope, signed, sealed, and ready to deliver. So, morning being a Monday morning over here in Korea, I'm going to take it down to the post office in the morning, and one good thing to do, especially if you want to make sure of everything, especially from overseas, is, if possible, send it over by registered mail so that you have some way for them to get back in touch with you. You can confirm it's been delivered and you know it's going to get there. It's always a bit of a leap of faith from this distance, especially in my case, well across the Pacific from the continent, so it's a good idea to do anything you can to be sure of delivery. So I will address it in the morning, take it down to the post office, and off it will go. So there you have it. We have voted from overseas, exercised our constitutional rights as Americans. Now, wasn't that hard? No, it wasn't hard. It was supremely easy. So, on that note, before I go, a final thought I'd like to leave everybody with. Just remember what a privilege it is that we can do this and not only have this right, but carry it with us everywhere we go in the world. And it's good to remember too, especially if you've been a long time away from your own country like me, you start to forget about these things a bit, and you might not take the trouble to get yourself an absentee ballot or take the trouble of voting unless you have a good reason to. And as we all know, this year we have a good reason to, because this is one of the most important and historically significant elections we've had ever in our nation's history as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that we are able to do this and do it from this far away, that is something we carry with us as Americans. We don't want to let it go. The late Robert A. Heinlein, one of my favorite sci-fi authors, said once in one of his books that if you're part of a society that votes, you should do so, even if you don't feel too enthusiastic about it, because, as he said, there may be no candidates or measures you want to vote for, but there are always sure to be some you want to vote against. And if you're in doubt, vote against. Vote for something, vote for anything. If you feel too detached from things going on in your home state or county, leave that part of the ballot blank. But vote. Do your best you can. Take the chance. Take the opportunity you've offered. Participate. Even from overseas, no matter how far away you are, where in the world you are, how long you've been gone, you are still an American citizen. And speaking for myself, having been gone this long, I'm not likely to forget it at all. In fact, it really makes you more aware of just how American you are and just how lucky you are to be able to do this and how important it is. So, that's it. And everybody overseas especially, please do as we do. Do as everybody should. Do as you can. Do as you ought to. Vote. This is how easy it is. And in the words of Senator Obama, yes we can. Night, guys.